And welcome back. We have been joined in studio this morning by trade economist Teresa Gideon, and she is the CSME focal point. Good morning,
Good
Ms.
morning.
Gideon.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we're going to discuss CARICOM and, of course, the Single Market and Economy Framework. First of all, we need to know what it is. For our audience who may not be aware of this existing system, if I could describe it as such, what is it and how does it benefit us as people within this region?
That's a big question. So CARICOM is an integration movement, and it includes 20 countries, 15 member states, and 20 associate members. Today, I'm here because this year marks the 50th anniversary of CARICOM. And so on the 4th of July 1973, the first four countries, Barbados, Trinidad, Guyana, Jamaica, decided to start this integration movement. And as you may know, it was not the first attempt. There were two previous attempts that were not as successful. And so they said, let's give it a try. And so far, it has been working. And throughout the years, we have been looking at ways how we can help each other. And one of the benefits of this integration movement has been the ability to speak as one voice. And that has been in our favor to speak on numerous issues beyond just economic integration, but politics, security, human and social development, and foreign policy coordination, which are pillars of CARICOM. So it is within this framework that we hope that we have been helping each other. And one of the biggest benefits is the movement of people and the movement of goods. And so CARICOM is the big umbrella, and within CARICOM there is the CSME, which focuses on one of the pillars, economic integration, under CARICOM. So that's what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade looks at, that particular pillar. So that's my responsibility.
That's a very thorough explanation, which lays the foundation for the other questions that we have in this discussion. So, CSME, in terms of the movement of people, because I believe that does fall within the framework as well, and of course, produce, services, goods and services, trade. How long has this been in effect? Okay, sorry, let me frame my question properly. How long has CSME been in effect within the CARICOM umbrella?
Okay, question. So in 2001, the Treaty of Chaguaramas, that was the foundation for the region, revised itself. It was revised, and in 2006, Belize was one of the first 6 countries to sign on to it. And when we signed on to it, we decided that we'd be looking at 5 regimes or 5 areas. We'd be looking at businesses, establishing a business, movement of goods, movement of people, which we call skills as well, services, and capital. And the data has shown so far that the trade in goods has been the most successful. We've benefited immensely from the trade in CARICOM. In fact, second to the EU, we have a surplus, which is not normally the case when we're looking at our different trading partners. And so we have the ability to capitalize even more in CARICOM in that area. And we have been doing well with the movement of people. A lot of CARICOM nationals come to Belize to make Belize their home. It's estimated about 300 to 400 CARICOM nationals live here. So it's an area that we can improve on so that they have access not only for themselves but their families, but it has been a successful one so far.
That's what I wanted to ask you, because we recognize, I believe as Belizeans, we recognize ourselves as a part of CARICOM, but I'm not sure if we take advantage of the fact that we're able to migrate, so to speak, in other CARICOM countries and make a life there as well. Do you believe so?
I agree. We don't know about the opportunities, and that's why we do CARICOM Week, to promote CARICOM, to bring about awareness, because we want to say, as a grouping, there are opportunities not only in Belize, but in the other 14 member states. Once you get your skills certificate, which is forever, you can live and work in any of these other member states. And it's just by taking advantage of the opportunities that we can also iron out some of the kinks in the system.
Yeah.
This is my observation, right? Perhaps there are others within the region that are fully aware of what the benefits are for, participating in the CSME framework and perhaps exploiting it for, their own personal successes. But we don't hear of many Belizeans
Yeah.
that have. I say that because when we look at the number of attorneys and we look at the number of magistrates and judges that come from other parts of the region, from Guyana, Trinidad, so on and so forth, they are here under that particular umbrella.
Yeah.
But it's not often that we apprise ourselves of other people from Belize who have moved into the region. I know of a couple people in Jamaica. I presume that that's one of the countries that most Belizeans would go to in terms of trying to explore other opportunities beyond the ones that are available here. Is that so?
So we don't have the data, the explicit data on the amount of Belizeans outside of Belize. So what the region has done is to ask member states to collect free movement statistics so that we can better understand who's out there. So Belize has been collecting this on our end, but we can only collect who's coming to us.
Yeah.
So as soon as that data is available, we hope to share that. But I think you may know that Dr. Carla Barnett is the Secretary General for the CARICOM Secretariat, which was a big deal for Belize. And we have, after her, there are a number of Belizeans that have gone there to work at the Secretariat. So it gives us hope that it is possible. There's an opportunity there. And we just lately had the director of Bureau of Standards. He's now the head at CrossQ, which is one of the regional organization that deals with quality and standards in the region. So there are some key people that are moving, not as many as we'd like. And remember, it's risk. Many people want to know that when they pick their lives up from here and move to another country,
guaranteed.
yes, and with all the benefits that they had here as well. So that's what we're working on.
I mean, I'm not sure if you're able to speak about this, but I do know that it's a little bit of a unique process to apply. I believe there's like an application process to be able to legally migrate over as well. Could you speak about that? What is that like for a CARICOM national to apply to migrate to another CARICOM country?
Well, here in Belize, you can apply for the skills certificate through the Department of Immigration. Unfortunately, it's only in Belmopan at this moment. So you fill out a form and you submit your relevant documents, your passport bio page, your pictures, and whatever other relevant documents, particularly your degree, because it's a skills certificate. Once we process that, then you are issued your certificate, and you can use that upon arrival in a member state. When you get your automatic 6 months, within those 6 months, you can go to the immigration department there or the labor department, because each member state has a different entity responsible for the movement of persons, and they will verify with whichever member state that issued the skills certificate. So if Belize issued it, they would contact the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, and we'd verify that it was issued in collaboration with immigration. And once it's verified, you're good to go.
Is it a lengthy process?
Each member state has a different process.
Okay.
The attempt is to make it as short as possible. It can be as a month to maybe a little longer,
Okay.
But it all depends on the member state you're in and if you have all the documents ready.
So
Right.
we can't quantify the number of Belizeans that are in other member states, but we're able to perhaps have an idea of how many others are in Belize from other parts of the region. How have they been able to integrate in our Belizean society?
Well, I cannot tell you how they have been able to integrate. They would have to tell you themselves their stories. And you know, with every time you move, there are going to be good and bad experiences.
Yeah.
collectively at my ministry at immigration, we try to make the experience as good as possible. We know there are some challenges when they get here in just ensuring that they can access all their rights, because it's not only the general public that's not aware of the opportunities, but so some key people in some institutions to ensure that these people can move seamlessly into our country. So far, the few that I have encountered, for more or less, they have settled in well. It has been a good experience for them. My job is also to hear the complaints.
Yeah.
And so it's not to amplify the complaints, but to ensure that we know how to make the system work better for them.
Yeah.
But, okay, perhaps I should be a bit more specific
Yeah.
where I'm going with the question. When these people apply, similar to when Belizeans apply to go to another country within the CARICOM region, when these people apply, is there sort of an indication from them what their skill sets are, or what they'd be coming to Belize for, or something that gives you an idea more or less what line of work they'd be seeking or what have you?
Yes, when you apply for a skill certificate, you have to indicate your skill. Now, you don't necessarily have to work in that skill area when you arrive. So if you have a bachelor's in environmental studies, when you arrive in Belize and you get an offer from Channel 5, you can work at Channel 5. The skill certificate is just to ensure that you have the skill sets approved by the region to move.
How about this? For instance, I have family members in Jamaica. Am I able to migrate there without a job to live with my family there, to, I guess, in the future seek other opportunities there?
So you can go to Jamaica, you'll get your 6 months upon arrival, but your primary beneficiary, whoever that may be, your mom, your dad, would have to indicate that you are a dependent of theirs.
Okay.
So if you are a non-Jamaican and you are a child of your Jamaican mother, then they would have to show that you are a dependent coming there. You would not, if they are a Jamaican, they don't need a skill certificate to be there. Now, if you want to live and work there, you would need one, but if you don't want to get a skill certificate, you go through the normal immigration process.
Okay.
Here's a question that I have, and I believe it's the elephant in the room. I'm not certain if you'd be the right person to speak on these matters. But we've been experiencing some challenges in terms of other nationals from within CARICOM perhaps exploiting their ability to move freely within the region. When we look at Belize, Belize is the only mainland, well, aside from Guyana, but that's further south. Belize is the only mainland Caribbean and Central American country that is closer to North America, and you're looking at persons who are coming to Belize, perhaps under this, the guise of free movement, but the ulterior motive or the objective is to be able to move further. And obviously, it has created an issue with the Ministry of Immigration, but it falls under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, right? What is your take on that? How do you look at that from a certain point of view where you understand that this legally exists, that people can move, but they're using it to their advantage to move somewhere else undocumented or illegally?
So one of the pillars that I mentioned earlier in CARICOM is security. And the region has done a lot to collectively improve its surveillance and to have member states work together to ensure that when Tricia arrives at Trinidad, that they can have all the information they need on her upon arrival.
Yeah.
To make this work, of course, we need data, and we need to upload the data, and we need to be reporting to each other. So it's a cooperation issue. With everything, there's going to be loopholes, and people will find ways to engage in illicit activities.
Yeah.
we can't dismantle the framework because of that. We just need to now work with member states, and we have been, to ensure that we understand the source of the reasons why people are moving illicitly, because people don't get up one day to risk their lives to move through areas and spend a large amount of money just for fun. People, there's a reason. And so when you start interacting with other member states, that, hey, you know, we have a number of people from Grenada coming here, and we want to know what's happening on your end, and this is what our security is picking up. What's your security? And they said, well, we weren't aware of that. We were aware of this happening in the Panama, or it was going through Trinidad. So it is really now an effort for us to come closer together to improve our systems and to make the system work better. So people are going to take advantage of it, unfortunately, in not the best ways, but it's an opportunity to improve it.
Yeah. Let's talk about CARICOM Week. We know that CARICOM Week is a week of advocacy, of information sharing to the public, what you can learn about being a CARICOM member. I mean, we are a CARICOM member, but what are the activities that you guys have lined up for this week?
So CARICOM Week, we usually try to emphasize the non-trade elements of CARICOM, because when we think of CARICOM, it's only trade, but CARICOM is food, music, people, colors. And so this week we have, well, yesterday we started off with the churches, the Council of Churches, who are also celebrating in the region the Conference of Churches 50 years as well. So they had church services around the country celebrating CARICOM as well. Today we have our time on the media to promote what's happening. Tomorrow we have a high-level event at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade to discuss the impact of CARICOM on Belize for the last 50 years, and we will also be unveiling a painting that we commissioned to celebrate Belize in CARICOM. We also have tomorrow some clinics. We call it Mobile Clinic with the skill certificates. They'll be stationed at Galen University, so students can come out and apply for their skill certificate. And the fee for the skill certificate has been waived for this week. We also have a mobile clinic on Thursday at UB in Belmopan. We have been working with the coffee shops in Belmopan and Belize City to place on their hot and cold drinks so the 50th anniversary logo. And so again, it's a simple way for people to start asking questions. And every 50th person gets a free coffee. And then we have a poetry night Thursday night at the National Heritage Library in Belmopan. And then we have a marathon on Saturday morning at the Marion Jones Complex in Belize City.
I want to talk about young people, because of the entire population of CARICOM, inclusive of associate members and member states, which is 16 million people, 60% of that population are under the age of 30. What are ways that you guys, or what are ways that CARICOM prioritizes young people?
So I work particularly, as I mentioned earlier, with the integration, and this year we've just nominated 2 youth ambassadors. And the way we have been trying to promote youths is to have youths be at the forefront of promoting this region, and to have forums for them to speak, and to have these ambassadors in each member state identify activities that they feel are the most effective in sharing what CARICOM is about and integrating young people more into the discussion.
Will the CARICOM Youth Ambassadors be a part of this CARICOM Week activity?
They will be part of the high-level discussion. They're invited to participate. However, we ask them every year on the 4th of July, which is CARICOM Day, to organize activities for to promote CARICOM in Belize. Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share with us regarding CARICOM Week activities, or regarding any of the issues that we've discussed so far?
And just a reminder that I think we always forget is that CARICOM is out there, and CARICOM is us. Belize is CARICOM, and CARICOM can only be effective when we make it effective as people.
So just to reiterate, tomorrow, Belmopan, there will be this high-level discussion to look at CARICOM and its role in the region for the past 50 years. Open to the media, correct?
Yes.
Just
Cautiously,
making sure.
yes.
Just making sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Tricia, for talking to us about CARICOM Week and CARICOM Day. Happy 50th CARICOM Day. CARICOM Week.